What's the best race of F1's V10 era? It's a question we've tackled in passing from time to time on Bring Back V10s, but we figured it was time to come up with the definitive answer. And what better way to do that than to jump on the World Cup fever bandwagon? So welcome to the Bring Back V10s World Cup Best Race Edition. As always, I'm your host, Glenn Freeman, and to help us get through this gruelling tournament featuring 32 of the best F1 races from 1989 to 2005, we have Edd Straw, Ben Anderson and Matt Beer. Here's how it works. We came up with a list of 32 races, taking 4 suggestions each from us and from our producer, Johnny. We then had the remaining 12 slots filled out by suggestions from the Race Members Club to give us 8 groups of 4, just like the World Cup had until this year's edition when they've added more teams and completely would have ruined our format. Matt, Ben and Ed then had to score each race in the groups from 4 to 1, with the highest scoring races progressing into the last 16 knockout round. We've done a full rundown of the group stage results in an extended version of this episode for our members. So if you'd like to hear how we got to where we are now, head to the Members Club to check that out. In each knockout tie, the 3 guys simply have to pick the race they want to go through. So we get a winner every time. You know, at best we'll get a 3-0 or a 2-1. And no need for any World Cup penalty shootouts here. If the World Cup wasn't about international football, I could make an Arsenal penalty shootout joke there. But to give the first 2 rounds a twist, as host and channeling my inner V10 era Ferrari, I have one veto I can deploy in each of the last 16 and the quarterfinals if I strongly disagree with the choice being made. I won't do it in the later rounds as my ego does have its limits, and I'm not allowed to send the same race through twice, so I can't just give one of my favourites a free ride all the way to the semi-finals. So here are our last 16 ties based on the teams that progressed from the group stage and following a traditional World Cup wall chart that told me exactly which group winner should play which group runner-up. So we are doing this legit. That means we have Nurburgring 1995 versus Monaco 96, Nurburgring 99 versus Hockenheim 94, France 1990 versus Portugal 93, Donington 93 versus Australia 97, Japan 2005 versus Jerez 97. Oh, what a time that is. Australia
Veto's coming.
Yeah. Australia 94 versus Spa 98. Spa 95 versus Spa 2000, local derby. Do you get those in the World Cup? I suppose you do, yeah.
Yeah,
Geography.
South American derbies and whatnot, yeah.
And Japan 94 versus Phoenix 1990. So from here on, we are going freestyle with my World Cup wall chart. For those of you watching, you can see I've printed off a 2022 version that I will be filling in as we go along.
Not
so
even in colour.
No, black and white. Come on, it's the 90s. And filling it out by hand. So the first tie then, Nurburgring 95. Schumacher hunts down Jean Alesi for the win. Alesi should have won it, really. Versus Monaco 96 Chaos. Olivier Panis is our victor. Who wants to cast their vote first?
This one's really difficult because this is in football terms. This is a kind of Nurburgring 95 is kind of a late winner from a superior team after could there be an upset? And Monaco 96 is just a chaos nonsense race with a brilliant popular upset winner. So it's a real clash of styles here. So I've not casted a vote yet, but I just wanted.
I was going to say pick one. Stop comparing it to football.
I wanted to set the scene, but I default to favour because I think these are both brilliant, exciting races, but Monaco 96 for me just has a special place in my heart because that win for Panis was so unexpected and there was so much happening in that. Only 3 drivers crossing the line. That 3-car pile-up down at Portier I very much enjoyed as well. So I think I feel sorry for Nürburgring, but I'm going with the chaos upset side of this particular tie.
I am going to score the equaliser for Nurburgring 95, because as much as I also enjoyed Monaco 96 up to a point, a very clear point, a very smoky point down the escape road, exiting the tunnel, Nurburgring 95 is just, it's also chaos, mixed conditions, and like Lacey should have won. Schumacher was brilliant, charging, hunting him down. It's a race I watched, I had it on VHS. I had a few 95 races on VHS when I was a kid, and it's one I watched back again and again.
What happened to Damon Hill in that race, Ben?
I don't need to extol my childhood trauma on this podcast now. Even though they were both disaster races for Damon Hill, so that kind of cancels that element out for me, and I can just judge it on what I purely enjoyed the most, and I would give it to Nurburgring 95. 1-1.
2-1 Nurburgring for me.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Obviously, I love it. Monaco 96 is great, but Monaco 96 is, for large periods, not actually that interesting. The end result is incredible, and there's some comedy moments along the way. I like Ed. I like the 3 cars finishing thing. I like that Olivier Panis didn't just win. He won from 14th on the grid and did some overtaking in that race. It wasn't just
he was quick that weekend. He was a little bit out of position on the grid, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't like 13 cars in front of him retired. He fought his way up there, and it was great. And coped with pressure from David Coulthard's McLaren, which really probably should have won on merit in terms of actually being a fast car. But Nürburgring has so much to it. It's like one of the absolute classic, where did he win that from, Schumacher races. Yes, Alesi folds in the end, but he folds in large part because Schumacher is so relentlessly good. Watching it live that day, Schumacher catches Alesi once and then he comes into the pits. You think, oh, it's just a lighter fuel, lady. You won't do that again. And he does do that again. And the move is great at the end. Everything almost goes silent when he puts the pass on at the chicane. The early laps where David Coulthard's holding up a pack and just losing pace, and the racing that's happening within that are really good as well. It's just proper wheel-to-wheel, someone driving really fast in tricky conditions drama. So weirdly, it's almost like a purist vote. That's a stunning piece of motor racing from start to finish, and that's why it has to defeat a race I loved, but was a little bit... in the members section, I call Monza 95 a collection of comedic things happening from start to finish. Monaco 96 has a degree of that, but a bit less shambolic.
I think, assuming Glenn doesn't do his veto, which I'm going to guess probably not, but you never know. Glenn can be a bit unpredictable. But this is actually an example where, even though the one I went for lost, I feel like this is a World Cup knockout game where I'm a bit disappointed with the result, but I feel like the worthier side maybe did win. So I was happy either way.
Yeah, I think we've probably got the right winner here. So let's move on to our second tie, which... Those of you who listen to us talk about the group stages, I think may be aware that we might not need too long to debate this one, because it's Nürburgring 1999 and all the chaos that brought against the 1994 German Grand Prix. We were all surprised in the members bit we did. We expressed our surprise at how well this did in the groups. I suspect we might have a whitewash here. Ed, do you want to try and prove me wrong?
No, I've got to go for Nürburgring 99. I mean, much as I love Germany 94, they're the team that comes in and they light up the group stages, and you love them and you want them to advance, but they're just a little bit they're a bit chilly in a good World Cup year. They're not really destined to go much beyond the round of 16, are they? So much as I love Germany 94, I think Nürburgring 99 is just such a fun race with a ridiculous winner. Multiple different drivers could and should have won it. Our very own Gary Anderson was steering the ship technically for the winner as well, so we can consider it a home win for the race as well. So, yeah, for me, it's not. I can't make a case for Germany '94 beyond the fact it would just be quite nice because it's a favourite race. But this is the end of the road. They've been a great credit to the competition. Well done, everyone. We'll slightly patronise some of their fans and players, but you can go home now and let the big boys get on with it.
As much as I have a soft spot for Germany 94 and nominated it to be in this competition, and I'm pleased it snuck through the group stages somehow miraculously against the odds, I would also vote 2-0 Nürburgring 99, because if someone else hadn't nominated that race in their four before I got the chance to put mine together, I would have voted for that one or nominated that one. So yeah, easy win. One of those dominant performances by a massive team against the middle.
Yeah, easy 3-0. Hockenheim was exactly what 94 needed at that point. That Ferrari win, Ligier podium, loads of upsets, but it's not a classic race overall.
There's a chance for Glenn
No.
to do a hilarious veto here.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, go on, Glenn. Do you dare?
Well, no, because Ben, you said someone else nominated Nurburgring 99 before you did. It was me. So I'm not about to knock out one of my favourite races of all time. Yeah, I think Nurburgring 99 is one of those races that you can all feel. It's a team in a World Cup. You can feel it's probably going to go a long way. But
One of the pre-tournament favourites, you'd have to
yeah,
say.
definitely. I think we did something like this on social media a few years ago, and I think it did quite well then as well. The great thing is I can't remember what the results of that were, so my judgment won't be clouded. But I enjoy how threatened you all feel by the veto already. This must have been what Jean Todt felt like walking around the F1 paddock whenever there was going to be a rules meeting. And you just
Horrible
go,
looming presence this is.
Yeah, do I want to veto this?
I always think of you as John Todd of this podcast, Glenn.
What? A little bit short, massively powerful, and really successful.
Yeah, let's go with that. You can
And
interpret
massively
that-
French.
You can interpret my comment however you so choose.
Yeah, I'll take it. Right. Let's move on to now. There's a tie later on that I'm going to find painful. I suspect Ed is going to find our next tie very painful because it's two darlings of Edd Straw fandom. It is the 1990 French Grand Prix against the 1993 Portuguese Grand Prix. Ed, which of your two favourites potentially in this competition, which are you going to cast a potentially devastating blow against? Which way are you going on this?
Well, first, to spin out the suspense, and because I refuse to answer your make your vote
We haven't
question,
really got time. We're obviously going to go too long here, so not too much suspense, please.
I just want to say this is the tie in the second round that all of the previews and coverage and chat about it is, this could have been the final. It's the tie of the round, isn't it? And it's grossly unfair because this really should be the final. It's almost
Pick
impossible.
one.
It's almost impossible to tell them apart. I can tell them apart. To choose between them is what I should have said. But I'm going to go for it's Portugal 93. They've gone at it hammer and tongs.
Wow.
Portugal 93 has scored a late winner for me, just to nick it and eliminate a heartbroken France. France 1990s had a misfire very late on, and the little striker, the little clever, intelligent striker's in the right place. He's nipped past the Italian forward or something and grabbed the goal, and everyone's a bit heartbroken. But
How is there an Italian forward in a game between France and Portugal?
It's a Capelli reference, I assume.
Yeah, don't test the metaphor so much. It will
These
start to
football
break down.
references are getting very tired already.
I'm absolutely hitting these football references extremely hard. I'm going to keep doing them throughout. But yeah, the short answer, so you can edit out everything I've just said, is Portugal 93 by a nose.
There we go.
Horse racing, I
I
brought that in now. Getting my sports mixed up.
Oh, wow.
To be fair to Ed, I mean, Portugal versus France is a heavyweight tie in the World Cup, so I'll give you that much. But I think France 90 has to take it just for that sheer, almost wins it over Portugal 93. Oh, maybe my revisited 93 anti-bias is kicking in, but I'm going to
Your
equalise.
1993 fatigue.
Yeah, fatigue. I'm going to say Portugal, they got tired in the group phase, and France, being superior coming in, managed to bang in the goal, so it's 1-1.
Right, Matt, you've got the deciding vote here. I know that of the four of us, you're the least interested in football, so I feel like the next 30 seconds or so may be safe from all these tortured references.
Yes, it will. 2-1 to Portugal. I'm
Wow.
going 93. I just think, so for me, thanks to this podcast, because the original episode, even before we did the 93 series on this, kind of reminds me how good Portugal 93 was. To me, it's just got more to it. Schumacher is sublime in that. He's under heavy pressure at the end. You've got the Hakkinen out qualifying Senna and having that hilariously big shunt later in the race when he just keeps his foot in. You've got Jean Alesi leading. There's so much in this race. It scores highly for me because I was quite bored for long phases of 93 as a fan in real life and then having to do a whole bloody series on it. And Estoril kind of really turned things around in both experiences. Whereas, yeah, the France 90 thing is great. Even Capelli, Leighton House nearly winning is great. But it's almost like that's one story. And I feel like Estoril's got about 5 stories. So it takes it for me.
Wow.
I'm genuinely shocked. I like both of these races. I like pretty much every race that's got through here, but I did not see that coming.
I'm shocked by Ed. I didn't think Ed would vote against France 90. That's on the precipice of elimination.
That shows
Surely
what
that's his favourite.
1993 can do to Edd's brain.
But also,
Indeed, yeah.
sometimes there comes a point in life, and I hope it doesn't happen to many people, but every now and again you have to choose your favourite child. And that's the moment I faced here.
That's going to happen to me later in this round.
That's a format change. You're going to have to choose a favourite child.
Yeah,
who's your
when they come
favourite
back
child
from
to bring back V10s guests? That's a good pod. We'll do that one day.
Yeah, for the members. It won't be any of you.
It's Mika Hakkinen, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm really tempted. Just because I love France 90. It looks cool. It's old enough that
Todd is wavering over the button.
It looks great. The
Ferrari
grainy
one after
footage. The southern France sunshine looks great on the old style sort of footage. It is a really good race. Yeah, no, it is a really good race. So it's interesting all the way through. It's not like Capelli ends up there by accident. No, I'm gonna keep my powder dry. But I'm so shocked by the shock that I think it should be allowed to stand.
It's an upset.
It is, yeah. And you need upsets. So let's move on. Next up, we have Donington 1993 against Australia 97. So this feels like very famous race, Donington. But as we debated a bit in the group stages for our members, is it actually a good race, or is it just Ayrton Senna doing things that became iconic? Although Australia 97 must be coming in here as a bit of a minnow. Very, very entertaining race, turned slightly upside down by a dominant pole sitter being taken out at the start in Jacques Villeneuve. Ben, cast the first vote for us here.
Yeah, it's a tight one, I think. I will vote for Australia 97, just because I think I'm the key proponent of Donington 93 being overblown because of the first lap. As great as it was, I think its legend is largely based just around that one bit rather than the whole thing, whereas I think Australia 97 was quite bonkers, had lots of stuff going on, and an unexpected winner ultimately. Plus you've got the whole, a Lacey Benetton chaos in the middle too. So, and season openers, they just have that kind of ring to them, don't they? The sort of unexpected stuff can happen. So yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Australia 97.
Ed, you going to equalise for 1993?
I'm always repping 1993. It's an equaliser.
Of course, on brand.
Has to be.
I'm going to go with Ed and make it 2-1 for 93. And I've got to put my own feelings aside to a degree here, because as a teenager, I genuinely loved Melbourne 97. It's one of my favourite races to watch at the time. I wanted Villeneuve to win at that point, but actually him being taken out opened it up so much. And after a really Williams-dominated 96... McLaren being in that position, Ferrari looking on merit in that position, Johnny Herbert being close enough to the front to be taken out by a Ferrari when he might have been properly in a top 5 mix. It just felt really open and interesting, and then like a surprise that you needed straight away, because Villeneuve's pole margin was so massive, it looked like the season was a foregone conclusion. So I loved all of that, but
then voted against it.
Yeah, because nothing actually that. The race itself didn't really feature loads of great overtaking or anything, and doesn't have the iconic weight of not just the Senna drive, but so many things like Williams falling apart as it did at Donington 93. Johnny Herbert, fourth for Lotus, was a great drive. Rubens Barrichello being in the podium mix, should have been there on merit at the end if the Jordan hadn't run out of fuel, was incredible. And it's F1 happening at Donington Park. I love that element of it as well. That really appeals to me as someone who grew up going to British racetracks. So even though,
I thought you were putting your feelings to one side in this answer. It sounds like they're
I'm not going to be consistent through the whole answer. No, that's asking a lot. I also like wet races. Let's throw that in as well. Fair. Melbourne 97, I cheered myself hoarse during that night in 97, but it can't beat Donington 93.
Oh, I'm disappointed because I put my feelings about Damon Hill's performance in the 97 Australian Grand Prix completely to one side, and now I'm going to lose.
Well, Damon Hill didn't perform in the Grand Prix because he broke down before the start.
Are you thinking the veto, Glenn? Does that qualifying margin, does that make you want to veto it? Isn't the great Villeneuve lost dominant win?
1.7 seconds over Frentzen, 2.1 over the rest of the field, for those who can't remember.
Yeah, you've got to 2 of that on you, haven't you, somewhere?
Yeah, I could do if I had one. Yeah, it's tempting. I like for all the reasons Matt just said. I think Australia '97 is great, and I did love seeing McLaren win again, and DC, had to drive really well in that race, and it's stuff going on all the way through. It's quite a busy race, even though it doesn't have kind of the action as Matt described. But it's a mid '90s refueling era race at a track where overtaking was difficult, so I don't really hold that against it. But also the reason I am considering it is that I agree with the premise. I think Ben said that I think Donington 93 is massively overrated as a race. Yeah. Yes, Senna is amazing. Yes, his first lap is brilliant. But other than that, it's just him driving around, everyone else looking amateur. Now,
everyone else in the pits.
I don't hold that against Ayrton Senna. What he did was superb, although he would downplay this race slightly because he had driver aids. But yeah, there's nothing. You watch it back. There's nothing else going on. It's just there's a Williams in the pit lane again. Which one is it? We don't know, and they've probably put the wrong tyres on. But the reason I'm not going to do it is that it creates an all 93 quarter final in the next round, excellent. And I want to see Ed's face when that happens. So,
they're going to eliminate themselves. This is brilliant.
Yeah, neither of them get through. Right, on to the second half of the draw. This is the horrible one for me. It's Suzuka 2005, that great mixed-up grid race where Kimi Räikkönen wins it right at the death by passing Giancarlo Fisichella against Jerez 97, the iconic title decider. Villeneuve and Schumacher collide. Williams and McLaren collude over who should win the race. All kinds of other anarchy all the way through. A brilliant race. Matt, kick us off. Where are you going?
I'm sorry, I'm going Suzuka 2005. It's just too much action all the way through in different ways, and that too much suspense with Kimi Räikkönen hunting down Fisichella in the end. From the qualifying being so messy, it's going to be a really interesting race. And when that happens, you either want a complete random winner who qualified up front to hang on, or you want someone to properly have to come through. You don't want someone who was like good but qualified fourth to end up winning a mixed-up grid race. And Räikkönen was 17th?
Yeah, I think so.
I forget exactly where. I just know it was mid-teens. And leaving it as late as he did for the winning move, and the winning move being so good, there's so much to it. It's close because Jerez 97 is incredible, and the tension of Schumacher being hunted down, the little bit of kind of holding people up around pit stops, and Alberto Fontana being deployed. I love all the subterfuge of that. I really dislike McLaren then going, oh, go on, Mika Hakkinen, you have this win. And the collusion thing at the end, I cannot stand because nothing mattered by them. I ranted about that a lot in our 97 Revisited series. That does take a little bit away from the race for me. But I think 2005, it's a sheer volume of elements to it. And so many of the elements were pure good wheel-to-wheel racing. So yeah, it goes through for me.
Oh, you're coming to me next. I was hoping I'd have the deciding note. But it's tough. Because if I just set my Damon Hill feelings to one side, like Jerez 97, it's what Australia 94 could and should have been if Damon didn't have to park in the pits with the suspension completely.
If Michael had hit the wrong part of it.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. If he hadn't been so good at taking the driver out. So there's something special about the tenseness of a title decider, especially one where there's been a collision and one of them's still in it. And is he actually going to make it? Because it wasn't like it was smooth sailing for Villeneuve after that. It was touch and go till quite close to the end. But then, as Matt says, Suzuka 05 is just so pure as a race and so brilliant, especially at a track where it's so difficult to overtake, and you've got that tension right to the last lap, the charge. I think you've also got Alonso and Schumacher, haven't you, around 130R, so there's other bits going on in that race which are also iconic. So I think, on balance, very narrowly, I'm going to have to agree with Matt on Suzuka 05, because the collusion does spoil it, Jerez 97, so I'm going to go 2-0 Suzuka. Sorry, Glenn.
Yeah, Suzuka 05 is through, pending vetoes. Ed, clean sweep for you, or were you gonna try and score a late consolation for Jerez?
No, Japan 2005 has outclassed Jerez 97, which is, in football terms, that Jerez 97 is the good highlights reel side, isn't it? Very storied and fun and lots going on. But Japan 2005 is just a big beast, sustained excellence all the way through the race. It's blown Jerez 97 out of the water. And now, Glenn, I defy you to go against a 3-0 win and use your veto.
It'd be a great time to deploy
personal reasons.
Much like Ross Brawn claims when Ferrari could have blocked all those rule changes that screwed them for 2005. I will let this one stand because there are only 2 races where I wouldn't deploy a veto to get Jerez through, and Japan 05 is one of them.
You love
the
it,
fact
don't you?
it's a yeah. The fact that when I saw these two were coming up against each other, I was very disappointed. But also, it's a 3-0. It's a great race that I think might be able to go all the way. So I don't believe it is right for me to deny it that opportunity. So I'm looking at remaining tyres and I'm not feeling... Well, I may just have to deploy it for banter at some point. But yeah, Japan 05 gets through. It's we did have a few half-decent cars at the front of the field, but it's kind of the closest F1's ever got, really, to giving us a reverse grid. And what do you know? It was really good. Right, 3 tyres to go in the last 16. Next up, Australia 94, the title decider. So this is the other Michael Schumacher title decider where he drives into someone. Against Spa 98, Jordan's iconic victory in the wet after the huge pile-up at the start. So Australia 94 versus Spa 98. Ed, kick us off.
This one's really hard, but I think I'm tending towards Spa just because I think it's got so much going on in it. There's so many stories, and yeah, the Jordan win is just a great story. As a Damon Hill fan of the time, it's kind of stuck in the memory. Australia 94 is great because it's storied as well, and actually that first sort of 35 odd laps where it's the 2 title contenders, there's a chase, it's really there. That's such an exciting, intense and live race. I think it's really important not to forget just how dramatic that was, with Hill just sort of pressuring Schumacher for much of it. But Spa, I think, just slips through. I think it's just got too much going for it to not defeat Australia 94. And I think Spa will be a race that's in a sweet spot for a lot of people because it's got everything, hasn't it?
I think this is a race people will expect to go a long way. It's the one whenever people have to get asked to nominate best races from this era or best race from the 90, you get a lot of people shouting Spa 98. Matt, are you going to make it 2-0?
No. Spa 98 is just not actually a good race. It's a great
This is what
moment.
I think.
It's
Yes.
a great outcome. I don't begrudge that Damon Hill win. I love that Jordan gets a 1-2. There's great drama, the gigantic pile-up and the Schumacher Coulthard thing and Schumacher stomping to the pits. That's all great drama. Jean Lacey Sauber podium, also love that. Not a good race. There's huge gaps between the lead cars for a vast chunk of that race. And then at the end, when they're close together, there's team orders and the other guys in a Sauber. So there's not really actually a lot going on, whereas 94 is super tense all the way through with Hill and Schumacher, and then in a lower stakes race, super tense with Berger and Mansell for the win afterwards, and decided with a late change of leader. As I said in the member section, I do not begrudge Mansell winning this race. I found it quite nice at the time for various sort of Williams.
Worth signing up to the members club just to hear Matt elaborate on that nice Nigel Mansell point.
Basically Williams sympathy at that point. But no, I Adelaide 94 just kept me on the edge of my seat throughout. Spa, other than thinking, is Ralf Schumacher going to just get cross with this and plough into Damon, didn't really keep me on the edge of my seat. I just found it a quite interesting experience.
This is brilliant now because we've got... Ben has to decide between a brilliant title decider where Damon Hill gets taken out or Damon Hill's iconic Jordan victory.
Yeah.
Ben, are you going to surprise us?
It depends what you expect me to say. I'm going to try to take the arguments on merit, and I hear where Matt's coming from in terms of edge of the seat stuff, but it's half the race, not the full race that's like that for me. I mean, maybe obviously for me, but yeah, 35 laps, whatever Ed said, of Australia 94 is objectively better. But then once...
That's 34 and a half laps that's more interesting than most of Spa 98. The most interesting stuff happens at Spa 98 is on the radio behind the safety car.
Yeah, but there's just stuff going on all the way through, isn't there? Schumacher and Coulthard and that ridiculous collision. It's a wet race.
Yeah, how long did that last?
You can't take your eyes off Spa when it's wet and chaotic like that. And yeah, obviously there's a personal element of tension, and is Hill going to get that win? Finally, not in Williams' colours. So I'm gonna give it to Spa 98. And yeah, partly that's unashamedly Damon Hill fandom at play, but also because I think with Australia 94, as great as the first part of that race is, once they collide, it's just a nothing race and a Mansell win. So Spa 98, 2-1.
It's only a nothing race. And I mean, I was a Damon Hill fan at the time, so I guess it would apply to me. It's only a nothing race if you can't see the rest of the race through your Damon Hill tears.
Well, that's
that
true.
are streaming out of your eyes.
Genuinely good to the end.
Yeah.
No, not. I'm blinded. Sorry.
Matt's won me over. It's veto time.
Yeah!
Whoa!
Oh, I'm cheering for a Mansell thing.
Members are going to be
through.
unhappy.
Yeah. Fans are going to be unhappy. I think most people would expect Spa 98 to, it's at least a semi-finalist,
This is an
maybe even a
outrage.
finalist. It's
We've had our first controversy.
It's because I share Matt's view that Spa 98 is a massive pile-up. Michael Schumacher driving into David Coulthard and then charging down the pit lane to have a fight with him, which is not part of the race. And then it's, the Jordans being stage managed to a victory. There's hardly any cars on track for most of the race. So that idea that there's stuff going on all the way through. If you watch this race back in full, you have long periods of going, there's just nothing going on here. It's a great story. And I love that it happened. And I understand why it's so popular with people. But I do feel that if a lot of the people who went, Spa 98, best race of the era, if they had to sit down and watch the full 2 and however many hours it was, if you include the red flag as well, you would sit there and go, this is a lot more boring than my memory told me it was. And I do I think if Donington 93 had been up against a better race, I'd have potentially given that a harder time for the same reason. Wet race with a famous, iconic winning moment where it's, but Donington 93 is busier than Spa 98 between the things that make it famous. And as Matt points out, Australia 94, the first half is amazing. Schumacher and Hill are on a different level to everybody else in that race. Again, they catch back markers ridiculously early, which makes it more exciting. And it is the classic example that you don't need lots of overtakes for a battle to be exciting. And then you do have kind of the other players come into it, and we have excitement all the way to the end. And Nigel Mansell winning for Williams in, I can't remember if I said this in, I must have said it in the members bit, maybe what should have been his last race. He could have bowed out as a winner. That's a cool story as well. So I think Australia 94 has got more going for it. So I'm going to write a big V on my wall chart that this is my veto deployed.
Todd pushes his big red button.
I think you're just showing your Villeneuve bias. I think you just switched off that race after 7 or so laps and never watched the rest of it.
Great opportunity for me to say, remember the first start when he's up to second place at the beginning. And
Second of probably 2 cars though.
It's just before the shunt, and I think he's chasing Hakkinen up the hill, and obviously the camera stays on the shunt. And I remember watching it live going, don't show the shunt, show Villeneuve getting a run on Hakkinen, which is obviously ridiculous. So yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know what could have happened. He only had to last another 2 hours in the rain in that rubbish Williams, and it could have been a glorious 5th place. I don't know. But yeah, veto deployed.
Result overturned.
Yes.
Shocking.
VAR, which even I hate. Australia 94 defeats Spa 98. That is going to be very unpopular because I think a lot of people would expect Spa 98 to go a long way. But as I say, go and find the full race, watch the whole thing back, and then by all means come and tell me that you were entertained the whole way through. Right, let's move on. It's the one I called a local derby earlier. It's Spa versus Spa.
Team versus itself.
Yeah, Belgium against Belgium reserves. But it's Spa 95 against Spa 2000. So it's Michael Schumacher roughing up Damon Hill versus Michael Schumacher getting mugged by Mika Hakkinen. Ed, you were on the episode for Spa 2000 with me when we had Mika with us. Does that sway you in favour of 2000 perhaps?
Actually, I think it might do, because I think probably Spa 95 just has a little bit more, just through nostalgia almost, element. It's a great race as well all the way through, but Spa 2000 is a great sort of fully realised race, isn't it? You have lots of stuff happening. There's a proper battle. There's a resolution to it. And I do think that when we had Mika Hakkinen on as a guest on Bring Back V10s, and I've mentioned it before, but that detail he goes into in terms of curb use and that kind of thing and how he set up the overtake, I think just gives me an extra little connection to that race. So, go back and have a listen to that. I was just checking. I think it was in Season 2, Episode 9. We had Mika Hakkinen on talking about that. So even though I think the actual overtake itself, the overtake moment's brilliant, but I don't think it's the greatest overtake ever, but it's brilliantly storied. It's the culmination of a race. So I'm going with Spa 2000. I suspect I'd have gone with 95 had we not had that time with Mika just talking about it in ludicrous depth.
Matt, are you going to even the scores by any chance?
Yes, obviously.
I saw that one coming. You set this up perfectly.
Yeah, Spa 95 is tremendous. It's such a good race. Okay, it maybe fizzles a little bit at the end after the last safety car, which was deployed for literally no reason by that point. I think all the crashes have been long ago. Yeah. And then Damon Hill gets a penalty straight away, so it's not even the lead battle that you might expect. But the Schumacher slicks in the wet stuff is so good. The battle with Hill, Schumacher gets unfairly criticised for, because when you watch it back in detail, he basically does nothing wrong. It's just really good racing, and he's making it work on slicks in the wet when Damon's got the massive grip advantage. The opening laps are like the finest couple of minutes of Johnny Herbert's F1 career. Then he becomes terrible for the rest of the event after that. But the way Johnny Herbert's trying to throw moves into Eau Rouge in the not wet yet. David Coulthard's racing really well with him, so is John Lacey as well. That three-way lead battle for the first couple of laps with so much passing and repassing, and
yeah, it's brilliant.
Herbert managing to do a 360 spin across the grass at the Common, just continuing pretty much where he was afterwards. It's so much fun. I loved it live at the time. And you sort of start to feel disappointed as Herbert drops back, Lacey retires, Coulthard retires. You think, Hill's going to cruise this now because Schumacher's too far back. And then the on-off rain and the Schumacher slicks in the wet and the iconic battle. It's so, so good. You get a little underdog podium at the end with Martin Brundle, who's as high as second. Frentzen nearly catching to put Sauber on the podium. Even there's little bits of side plot tension to the finish. And the quality of driving is so good. Now, Spa 2000 is also great, but I've got to be loyal to my all-time favourite races. Spa 95 is just sublime.
Ben, you have the deciding vote, and it's a deciding vote that I can't overrule.
Exactly, yeah. You've used up your god powers now, so...
Until the next round.
Oh, does it renew?
Yeah, it resets in the quarters. I gave myself one each, come on.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I didn't read the small print, so you're much more powerful than I thought. I thought that was one and done. Yeah, so... close between the Battle of the Spas, but I mean, I have to go with Matt. For me, it's nostalgia. Spa 95, weirdly, because obviously it's not a great look for Damon Hill.
Yeah, that was what I wondered.
But it is another of my 95 VHS races, which I watched back a lot because it's just so mental. And also at the time, you've got, I think, victory from the lowest grid position ever in Formula One as well. 16th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you just have to appreciate the brilliance of Schumacher, even grudgingly, my 10-year-old self. So, yeah, all of that and it being a peak nostalgia year for me just edges it. As much as the logic of Edd's argument stands up with Spa 2000 and the completeness, if you asked me to nominate 4 of the best of the era, Spa 2000 wouldn't get into my 4, but Spa 95 would have a chance of making my 4. So just for that reason, I think I have to give it 2-1. And I know I'm now talking up a race where a great guy wins from the middle of the grid, whereas in the members only part of the podcast I trashed races where Mansell and Prost did similar pre-1990, but it's not the 90s, so they can get stuffed.
Well, as Matt said, nobody is listening to this show expecting any of you to be consistent in your opinions. So Spa 95 gets past Spa 2000. To find out who they will face in the quarter-finals, we have the last of the last 16 ties, which is Japan 94 against Phoenix 1990. Ben, I'm going to let you go first here. Damon Hill's race of his life, so I just chalk you up for Suzuka 94?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, as much as, the Lacey race, if you want to call it that, is cool in the Tyrrell, it hasn't got the sort of depth of giant killing of France 90. And yeah, I mean, Damon Hill's race of my life, which he picked for Autosport magazine. I did the interview with him for that too. So for me, it's no question a crushing, dominant 1-0.
Oh, I'm trying to guess. Can I pick either Matt or Ed to try and even the scores up?
I think it could get overturned, because
Really?
Yeah, because I think my Damon Hill fan, and this is like peak Damon Hill moment, but that's kind of the only reason to enjoy Japan '94. I think it's mental, but it's not. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in that race, and it's so disconnected as well because it's in two parts. So I can understand why, thing. If you're looking at it from a step back objective view, it's not so clear cut. But for me, obviously, it is.
I considered saving my veto for this point because I think Japan '94 scored really highly from you all in the group stages, which surprised me because, to me, it's obviously Damon's drive is brilliant. But the second half of that race, when it's on aggregate, it's basically a glorified qualifying session where he's just got to drive around faster than Michael Schumacher, but not actually race him. Fortunately, Jean Alesi and Nigel Mansell have a race that isn't a race when they think they're battling for position, and they're not because of the aggregate. So that helps it. But I did. Again, having watched these both back previously, like Phoenix 90 is just cool because it's so different to what you get later in the era. But anyway, I can't cast a vote, so what I think is almost irrelevant. Matt, are you? Is there any part of you that wants to give this to 1990, or were you another one who voted Japan '94 highly in the groups?
Yeah, okay. I've got some slightly odd reasons for this. Maybe I get the aggregate thing counting against Japan '94, weird spectacle. But for one race in history to be decided, one like really memorable race to be decided that way, I think is fine. I've got to put the context in there. Until that moment, you're not really sure if '94 is ever a real title fight. You think there's like disqualifications and the scales being tipped just to bring it closer. But Damon's obviously not going to really do it because look how Schumacher destroyed him at Jerez just before that. And then in the wet at Suzuka, of all places, where Damon was pretty limp on his first experience of the track a year earlier.
And subsequently.
And subsequently. Yeah. Even his 96 drive was a bit like, well, you didn't have to beat anyone there, did you? But yeah, he's so good, and it just creates hope and tension in a season that actually needs to end on a good sporting storyline. So I think all that weight of history and the fact that it is so close, even if it's on the timing screens. Does Mansell think he's got third and then realises afterwards he doesn't? It's actually Lacey's. I quite like that. My memory tells me Mansell looks silly at the end, so I'll give it some points for that. Some horrible crashes probably shouldn't have even been a race, given how bad the conditions were at times. But it matters to a significant title fight in a significant season. So that weight comes into it. Alesi was phenomenal, Phoenix 1990, with the way he took the fight to Senna's McLaren in the Tyrrell. That was great. Really fun race to watch back. I kind of expected a bit more from how mixed up that grid was. In the end, it becomes an Alesi versus Senna race, and then Senna runs away with it after a really good first half. You see people like Pierluigi Martini with a Minardi on the front row, Andrea Jerez with a Dallara in third, Olivier Griard and Orsala like 8th or something, certainly top 10. But almost every other surprise element of qualifying just goes, burp, we're off when the race starts.
Thank you, Pirelli.
Yeah, and it's not as much fun as the grid makes it look like it's going to be. So a race and then that race announces Alesi's a future world champion, and so that race lies as well. Whereas Suzuka 94 is kind of iconic for weighty reasons.
Ed, full house?
Well, I think I would have given it a full house, but given that we know that Suzuka 94 is going through, I think I'm going to give a consolation goal to Phoenix. I think this is plucky Pierluigi Martini rising above the defence to head it in. Pierluigi Martini, I'm not sure he'd been strong in the air, actually. I think I've gone the wrong way with my football.
Well, you get those small players who sometimes just get into the right position and score goals with their heads, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so a clever bit of he's got his his Pirelli boots on, and he's stolen him. Perhaps it's one of those little headers where you steal in behind someone, the ball just drops and you go. But I think this is the just result. So I'm just giving Phoenix 1990 because it's so affectionately remembered a bit of love. But yeah, I must admit the lie of Jean Alesi that Matt sort of talked about in terms of the future world champion lie. That is a very key narrative through the Bring Back V10s era. So I almost slightly hold that against Phoenix. But yeah, justified winner. But I like 2-1 as a scoreline more than 3-0.
I'm heartened that actually it could have been a whitewash because I really was quite concerned that Japan 94 was going to go out for quite legitimate reasons, but actually it could have got through very easily. So
or could have been vetoed.
This is a great example of Glenn was trying to work out what way to do it, but had it been 1-1 when it came to me, I'd have gone Japan 94. So Glenn, you'd have found it almost impossible to predict the right way to play that, given that I was sort of being sort of Schrodinger's cat-esque in that I was both for Japan 94 and Phoenix 1990 until observed when of course I had to go for one.
Okay, quarter-final time then, and we are starting with Nurburgring 95 versus Nurburgring 99. I'm really interested to see how this one's going to go. Matt, I'm going to try and entice a first vote out of you because I think that might help the suspense here.
Yeah, so tough. I'm going 95. I think the driving quality of the winner is higher, and that just tips it over in two great races.
Yeah, no, I see the logic. This is really tough to call. Ed, Nurburgring 95 or 99?
Very hard to choose between them, but I am going with Nurburgring 95. The reason being...
Wow!
That I think Nurburgring 95... This is a Bring Back V10s World Cup, and I think Nurburgring 95 in a race encapsulates the Bring Back V10s era like no other. It's Schumacher, the great driver of the era, catching and passing the great I mean, I don't know what you call him, the fraud of Jean Alesi. That's not like, because Alesi was a great driver, but obviously
fraud's too far.
I feel like Alesi is a driver from the past and Schumacher is the driver of the future, and he catches and passes him. I've no doubt if it's the other way around, then Schumacher would have won that race if he'd been in Alesi's position in the Ferrari. But I just think that's just the one little thing that gives Nürburgring 95 the edge in that context, even though I'm very sad to have Nürburgring 99 losing because it's such a fun race.
Yeah, I'm stunned by that. I thought Matt would be the reason I went to Matt first was I thought let's at least get 95 on the board before we knock it out. Ben, obviously your vote is irrelevant, but for the sake of completion, what was your decision going to be, and was it difficult?
I'm shocked. Not really. I mean, I'd love Nürburgring 95 for nostalgic reasons, but Nürburgring 99 would be one of my top picks, if not my top pick out of the races, just because of all the chaos, the championship riding on it still, the random winner, just so much going on. I'm really surprised. This is not a consolation goal. I would have picked this if you'd come to me first. I'm not being Schrodinger's Edd or whatever he was in the last round. So, Nürburgring 99 has to get on the score sheet for me, and I'm hoping you'll use your power of veto to send it through to the next round.
The veto's definitely being thought about, isn't it? I can see it being thought about. He's considering it.
I'm not even considering it. As soon as Ed made it 2-0 to 95, I knew I was deploying it.
Yes! Victory for sense. Not all this bollocks about the future overtaking the past. I mean, no, that's not going through.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. Jean Alesi was the past by 1995.
Yeah.
The reason that obviously this race is brilliantly entertaining all the way through. It's chaotic. I get that 95, slightly more conventional race. A fun thing, as we're about to say goodbye to 95, it was mentioned earlier, the thing about Schumacher catches Alesi and then pits again and has to catch him again. Schumacher said at the time that he didn't realise he had another stop to make, and he was furious when they called him back in. He thought, I'm never going to catch him again. He overestimated Jean Alesi and Ferrari. But the reason I'm sending Nürburgring 99 through is that not only is it it's one of my all-time favourites. I said earlier that there was only one other race where I wouldn't necessarily use a veto to get Jerez 97 through. It's this race, but it's also, I think I've mentioned this on the show before, this is the race that is basically sort of the reason we're all here doing this podcast right now, because at school after this, we had a newspaper project we had to do in English. We had to write two versions of the same newspaper report. One was balanced and one was biased. I mean, the word bias wasn't as scary back in the 90s as it is to mention now. And so I did two reports on this race. I did Johnny Herbert wins, brilliant, exciting, chaotic. Was it European Grand Prix again by this point, wasn't it? So that was my non-biased one. Just what a great race, a straight report. The other one was Ferrari messes up Eddie Irvine's championship challenge with its botched pit stop and massively slagged Ferrari off, so that was my biased report. Enjoyed it. It was very easy, and I got an A, which I didn't get many of those at school. And then I thought, maybe I should do this when I grow up. So it's I owe a lot to this race, I feel. And again, it is one that I've watched back in full since, and it's not just nostalgia. It lives up to it. The early part of the race, before all the contenders fall off or break down or their cars switch themselves off, is brilliant as well. And then just the madness by the end of like, is anyone going to come win this race? Because Ralf Schumacher, Giancarlo Fisichella, and then Johnny Herbert comes through. I think this race, I said earlier, didn't I, about Spa 98? Go and watch Spa 98 all the way through in full and tell me you're excited all the way through. If you watch Nurburgring 99 in full, you will be excited all the way through.
Well done, Jean Todt. Well used, the veto. And also, Ed, you were wrong. So the essence of Bring Back V10s is Nurburgring 99, not Nurburgring 95.
I think there's a terrible lack of respect for metaphor in terms of sporting events, and I think you've robbed us of a narrative, and I think that's shameful use of a veto.
Oh, well, as Ferrari would say.
Tough. God wins, as always.
Yeah. Right, let's move on then to annoy Ed further. Let's knock out one of the 93 races.
This is Schrodinger's Ed now. He's got
Portugal 93 against Donington 93. I kind of want to make sure that Ed's vote counts here, so I am going to make him go first. Ed, there's nothing on the board yet. There's nothing you can do tactically here. Which of your darlings are you eliminating?
Well, I've had a bit of time to prepare, so I've come to terms with the fact that one has to fall. But the positive is it means there's going to be 93 representation in the semi-finals. So, and of course the final and in terms of overall winner. So effectively, I'm deciding the winner here, aren't I? So actually,
no, you're weakening your chances because in cup football you don't want the two minnows to clash too early. They need to be spread out to give themselves a better chance.
The two titans. Now, I actually think it's a fairly easy one for Portugal 93 because I just think it's such a storied and interesting race all the way through. I think it does have a sort of step advantage over Donington. Great a story as that is, I think there's so much going on in Portugal, and it's just got the extra fun of the episode about Häkkönen's arrival in the team of season with McLaren, the classic documentary as well. That gives it a little bit more. So yeah, Portugal 93. I'm going to continue to wave the flag for that as a great race.
In the interest of suspense, Matt or Ben, if either of you are going to pick Donington, be the next one to speak. Oh dear.
Yeah. It's a whitewash.
It's a whitewash. It's just a better race. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think even when we recorded 93 Revisited, Glenn, you said we have to devote extra time to Portugal because there's just so much going on. So yeah, for me, it's a whole race versus one lap. So it's an easy win for Portugal.
Yeah, brilliant. Full house. So kind of glad that I didn't use my earlier veto to knock Donington out. Because you have all seen sense that overall not necessarily the perfect race. But let's move on then. Next up in our quarterfinals, Suzuka 2005 against Australia 94. And I must remind people that Australia 94 got here by way of Glenn veto as well. But I'm all out of my powers now, so it's completely up to you guys. Ben, put these two races up against each other.
Yes. Okay. So what's the first one? Oh, yes, Suzuka 05. Yeah, it's an easy 1-0 for Suzuka 05. As much as there's that compelling argument about the tenseness and brilliance of the first part of Australia 94, I think it's, again, a whole race versus half a race just about. So, yeah, easy 1-0 to Suzuka.
2-0 to Suzuka. Adelaide, I pushed hard for earlier, but that was more to get it past the opposition it had at the time. Suzuka 05 is just a really, really, really good race. So easy one.
It's a titan, isn't it? It's a titan.
Yeah.
Ed?
No, I'm not even going to give Australia 94 a consolation goal against this opposition. In this context, Australia 94 is vaguely and unnecessarily defending into the chicane, and Japan 2005 is breezing past it. I'm not even going to
There we
explain
go.
that particular comparison, but just
You need,
Well, I
to, stick,
think-
you need to stick to football metaphors, I think.
No, I'm going to say that would make more sense to most of the people listening than all
Yeah.
the tortured football stuff you were saying earlier on. So yeah, full house for.
I think this is Germany destroying Brazil 7-1. Walkover.
Yeah, well, I'm
agreed.
trying to work out now. See, now we're doing tortured football stuff again because I'm not sure. I'm sure Australia '94 stands up to Brazil in that World Cup pre-collapse. But anyway, let's stick to racing, shall we? So we're going to finish then. Our last quarter-final is Spa 95 against Suzuka 94. I'm having listened to what you've all said about these races, and as I said earlier, seen how well Suzuka 94 actually scored in the groups. I'm quite curious about this one. Ben's stroking his chin, so Ben, you can go first.
Oh, this is tough because I really talked up Spa 95, but I have to pick Suzuka 94 for all the reasons discussed previously. It's just so personally important. So I'm doing a clear 1-0, but gritting my teeth and being very fearful that it's going to be a wasted goal.
Yeah, this is. I feel like we've had lots of these moments all the way through. We all love a load of these races. It is not easy to pick the ones that you have to basically bin off.
I have to pick Damon Hill being brilliant over Damon Hill being completely shown up by Michael Schumacher, don't I? to be consistent with my own brand, at least.
Oh, so now
Nothing
you're
else.
being consistent.
For
Taken
once.
13 series. Matt, any chance of an equaliser?
Spa 95 all the way for me, obviously. This as soon as Suzuka 94 came up against like what I'd see as top tier opposition, that's where the aggregate race, it was on the timing screen, not wheel to wheel, would make it fall over for me. And then Spa 95 just one of my all-time favourites. So easy whacked it in for that first Spa 95 for me.
Ed, you have the deciding vote.
This is the tie of the round for me because I think it's the hardest one to make a decision on. So I'll filibuster for a bit while I try and work out exactly where I want to fall. I think for me, I think Spa 95 does have a very special place in my heart. I'm sort of aligned with Matt on that, but I'm also sort of in agreement with Ben. So this one I think's gone into extra time. I think it might even go down to penalties. So what's the key thing on penalties? This is really.
I can't watch.
Don't miss your last one if you're Arsenal.
It's really, really hard. Yeah, we'll get Gabriel on to take the final penalty. So, but who's he taking it for? Would Gabriel be taking it for Japan 94 or Spa 95? I think. I don't like either answer. I think I've got to.
This is brilliant.
This is so slow.
I've literally swung backwards and forwards constantly throughout this. It's end-to-end action.
So it's definitely sudden death penalties are into now. The first 5 have been scored, or
I think we all
missed
feel
equally.
like sudden death right now, haven't we?
This is one of those penalty shootouts that ends up 31-30, isn't it? And the keepers are taking several. And with due apologies, to the loser, I think I've just got to go with Japan 94. Yeah! And Matt, to give you a sense of consolation, you've got to enjoy Nigel Mansell thinking he's nicked third on the last lap.
Okay, I'll have that.
And celebrating it, but being tricked by the aggregate. You've got to take some solace from that.
Yeah,
but
no, I'll have
this
that,
was
totally.
This was really close for me.
And Damon Hill refusing his handshake, I think, in the collecting area because he was so fucked off about Williams continuing to employ him.
Needless aggro.
Yeah, that's the weekend, isn't it? Where at some point in the weekend, Patrick Head tells Damon that Nigel's faster through 130R, and Damon's response was, "But I'm faster everywhere else." Okay, so we have our semi-final lineup. Then it will be. I don't think you definitely wouldn't have predicted this as our semi-finals. I think you'd have predicted 2 of these, but not their opponents. So maybe we can skip straight to the final because we have Nurburgring 99 against Portugal 93 all the way to the semi-finals. And we have an all Suzuka semi-final, Japan 05 against Japan 94. Ed, why are you motioning that you want to speak to me?
I just want to point out that this is exactly what happens in World Cups, isn't it? The semi-final lineup is never the 4 teams you expect it to, because that's the nature of a cup competition, isn't it? And football's a low-scoring game. Bring Back V10s World Cup is a low-scoring game, so we get results that surprise even ourselves. There are at least a couple of races in there I wasn't expecting to see. So I think this is great. We've surprised ourselves as well, and we're probably infuriating those listening.
Oh yeah, everyone will be really angry about this. But no, it's why I wanted to do. That's why I thought we'd do this format, not just because the World Cup's about to start, rather than just a kind of a straight top 10 debate about this. Because I like the fact that it's not, it's not just pick the best ones and then have a predictable outcome. I suspect we might be about to have a quite predictable semi-final round, so we'll gloss over that quite quickly. But then we're going to end up with 2 Titans, I suspect, in the final. And this is the whole point of it is to have it's not about the best X number get to this point. You want those surprise eliminations, surprise results. You want Ed in absolute agony trying to pick between 2 races there. That was very, very enjoyable. Let's go straight into the semi-finals then. Nurburgring 99 versus Portugal 93. Ed, I'm going to come to you first. You've been claiming that a 1993 race would get to the final. You are captain 1993. Can you really vote for Portugal 93 over Nurburgring 99?
Yeah, they scored off the kickoff. 1-0 Portugal.
That's so predictable.
Just mark
Simple.
you down by... Yeah.
He's playing up to the minnows of cup football, scoring the shock early goal, isn't he, against the Titanic team?
Oh, this isn't San Marino scoring against England in that famous game early on, which wasn't actually in the finals or anything. But Portugal 93. It's a great race, a great weekend storied. It ticks every box.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. That's why I came to you first. Let's have a bit of suspense. I will just remind everyone, including you guys, I'm out of vetoes now. So as I said, I won't interfere with the semis or the final.
This is the point where I was wondering, is he allowed just to veto the semi-finals and final, and effectively just this is you deciding who's going to win? So I tip my hat to your honesty and not abusing your position. And thinking
you don't need
for the
to
good of
butter him
everyone.
up now, Ed, because he's already said that his veto doesn't apply. So.
Well, no, I feel like maybe he could have disliked me calling him Jean Todt. Maybe you're not the Jean Todt to bring back V10s after all.
It's reverse ferret going on now.
No, as I said, I'm kind of fine with being compared to, in this era, being compared to one of the best team bosses. I'm all right with that. Matt. Let's get back on task here. Portugal 93 versus Nurburgring 99. Are you about to shock us?
No, goodbye 93. It's obviously Nurburgring.
Whee. Ben, I know that you've talked many times about having 1993 fatigue. At any point, does that morph into a bit like Matt going, oh, actually, I do like Nigel Mansell. Are you going to say that about 1993?
No. Easy win for Nurburgring 99. 2-1.
Veto. I'm playing my veto. I've got a veto.
Not your podcast.
This isn't 93 revisited. You have no veto. You have no powers.
What I find really funny is that Ed didn't end up agonising over 93 races against each other. He agonised over something completely different.
Yeah.
But having said all that, I am going to veto it. So they are through.
Well, Parallel universe V10s going on now where Ed suddenly made himself Jean Todt.
He's going to do his own version of this and release it on his own feed.
That's a good idea. My own feed where it's 1993 every day.
You just have to accept
the last 16 was made up of the 16 races from that season.
Oh, yeah. You just have to accept it's a heroic defeat for the minnow, Ed.
No, veto.
And maybe instead of buttering me up, you should have been buttering up producer Johnny, see if he'll allow us to do a 3rd place playoff. He may not because we've gone on for so long, but let's see once we've done the next semi-final, which is Japan 2005 against the... How did that quite get here? Japan 1994. Matt,
come on,
go
Damon.
first for us.
Japan 2005, 4-goal conclusion. Let's just get this done.
Ben, any chance?
I'm. They're both
Oh,
great.
he's going to try.
I'm going to equalise for Japan 94 just because it's the peak Damon Hill race, his best ever. So yeah, 1-1.
Right, we've got to hope here that Ed isn't still smarting from seeing Portugal 93 go down. That he doesn't do something ridiculous here. Ed.
No, I think this is pretty simple. I think it's Japan 05. It's a walkover, a steamroller job. That's a rollover though, isn't it? That's not good phraseology. Anyway, the point is Japan 05.
Yeah, don't walk in front of a steamroller.
Damon Hill veto.
Okay, so I think we have the final that everybody was expecting, which is Nurburgring.
How boring.
95 versus Nurburgring 99 versus Suzuka 05. Okay, so I've been on to producer Johnny to see if we are allowed to make this episode even longer by having a third place playoff. And I've been told we are allowed to do a third place playoff in the Race Members Club. So if you want to know what's happened there, come and check out the Race Members Club. You'll get an extended version of the episode. As I said, there's about 30 or 40 minutes at the start where we talk about the group stages in full. So if you've enjoyed this and you wish there was more of it, there is in the Members Club. Okay then, we finally made it to the final. There's been a lot of upsets along the way, a lot of unpredictability, but we have ended up, I would say, with a relatively predictable final, helped slightly by my veto that got Nurburgring 99 through that tricky quarter final. So it's Nurburgring 99 against Japan 2005. Unlike a lot of our previous ties, I have no idea how this one is going to go. So this is going to be quite exciting. Matt, kick us off.
Okay, despite trying to knock it out earlier, it's down to the opposition, isn't it? And in this case, Nurburgring 99 means more to me than Suzuka 05. It has more ingredients that I like in a classic race, like changing weather, underdogs actually looking good rather than folding like they do at Suzuka 05. It's still part of a title fight, albeit a bit of a weird one. So there's title fight implications. I love the Frentzen Jordan brilliance at the start. As much as the Raikkonen charge to victory and the mixed up grid in 05 Suzuka is fantastic, there's just more to enjoy about Nurburgring 99 through the course of the whole race and looking at all the factors that play into it.
Okay, so 1-0. Nurburgring 99 is 1-0 up. I don't know which way. I don't know which way you two are going to go, so I can't pick one of you to guarantee an equaliser. Ed.
Well, I just want to check. There's no suspicion either of these sides in the final have been guilty of spying on rivals or anything, and so we can change and just get Portugal 93, and I'll have to let that go. But I'm going to go for Japan 05 because I just think that the nature of that race, just the sustained storyline and the fact you've got that late pass by Raikkonen, I just think that just for the sheer quality of that side of things, there's stuff throughout the race. The pass on Schumacher as well. Obviously, it's a mixed up grid. It's just got everything. And even though it was a race I didn't actually watch live, or at least didn't watch much of live, because I was at the second ever A1GP World Cup of Motorsport race, the Lausitz Ring, and I remember seeing bits of the race, a little bit on a monitor in the pit wall, and I do remember seeing the last couple of laps as well for that. So I sort of saw it, but sort of didn't see it. But it's just a great race, and even though it's not quite in the nostalgia sweet spot for me, I just think objectively it does it all.
Well, like you, Ed, I didn't see this race. Well, I didn't see any of this race live. I think I've told this story before. I must have been at some sort of British F3 race or something like that at the end of 05, and I slept through my alarm and turned on the telly in my hotel room to sort of Parc Ferme and James Allen and Martin Brundle saying Kimi Raikkonen has just won potentially the greatest race of all time. And it was years before I saw it back in full. I've watched it in full several times since then, and it is brilliant. These are both brilliant. I have no bad feelings at all, whichever way this goes. And I feel like after this epic journey we've been on, Ben, you have the deciding vote to finally give us a World Cup winner and a best race of the V10 era. That is a lot of power. You know, you guys were talking about the power I had earlier. Now the power is in your hands.
This is a huge responsibility, and there's no power of veto in the final, right? So you can't
not
overturn
at all.
it if you don't like
I
it.
can't just bring Jerez 97 back.
Or Japan 94. I know it's too late.
No.
Lost the third place playoff. For me, yeah, both great. This is like the 2022 World Cup football final. Argentina against France, brilliant teams. But I have to give it to Nurburgring 99. Like that, as was said before, it's the essence of Bring Back V10s. It's in the nostalgia sweet spot. It's totally chaos. It has title fight implications. So just on that basis alone, plus the random winner, could have had any number of random winners, so storied, it wins for me. It was clear, like I would have picked this one anyway. So yeah, 2-1, knocks it in at the end, takes the title.
Brilliantly controversial, because Ed made his little Spygate joke, which is kind of a bit niche for our people who don't follow the second tier of English football in 2026. But obviously this is controversial because really Nurburgring 99 should have been knocked out in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
It's snuck its way through thanks to a veto, is out winning the whole thing. But very quickly, so we've heard Ben's thoughts there. Matt, do we have a deserving winner, would you say?
Yeah, again, like I said when nominating it in the final, I did try to knock it out earlier, but that's only because of what it was up against, and Nurburgring 95 being so high up my personal pantheon. Nurburgring 99 is just so much fun to watch again with how much happens through it.
Ed, if it couldn't be a race from 1993, are you happy with what we got in the end?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have had Japan 05 in the final, but I think Nurburgring 99, that there's a number of races that were all kind of justifiable and worthy winners, and Nurburgring 99 is one of them, isn't it? It ticks loads of boxes. It's very fondly remembered. A home win for the race, as I mentioned before, given Gary Anderson's involvement too. So, yeah, I think it does have so much, and there's so many different drivers who could have won it as well. So there's loads of fans of those drivers who'll be disappointed. It's got stories, it's got drama, a bit of everything really, hasn't it? So yeah, I can't, and a special place, as you said, in Bring Back V10's prehistory, shall we say, as well. It's an origin story for this very podcast. So I can't really complain, even though I think Japan 05, I think if you were to do it, call it scientifically, Japan 05 probably is the one that would be the overall winner out of all of them. But yeah, I don't think many people listening to this will think that's an outrageous result, even if some may think it was the wrong result in the end.
Out of interest, Sean Todd, which would you have picked? Because you don't have the power of veto this time, but these are the two races you were prepared to veto over throughout the tournament. So now they've gone head to head.
Yeah, because it's these two, and Jerez 97 would be my top three. What would I have picked?
What are you
I would
thinking,
have gone
Glenn?
Nurburgring 99. No, I'm not like you. I didn't need 3 minutes of talking nonsense to work out my answer.
No,
I've already decided.
I wanted to ask you whether you thought watching what I just double checked was Charlie Kimball taking that double win in British F3 at Silverstone on that weekend. Do you think that being there to cover that was justification for missing one of the finalists?
I liked Charlie Kimball. I enjoyed covering British F3, but no, not really.
I can out-niche you because I think I've just remembered why I didn't watch this one live either, and that was because it was the morning after that year's Castle Combe Formula Ford Carnival, which I think Peter Dempsey won, and with part of a massive Irish contingent that came over, and it was quite a pub night afterwards, and I crashed at someone from Coombe's house and woke up desperate to get back to my own house and didn't see the race live.
Well, there you go. We've ended this episode talking about Charlie Kimball and Peter Dempsey. Who saw that coming? I think that sums up the absurdity of this whole process. But yeah, I think we had a final that very few people could dispute. Lots to dispute along the way. So I look forward to seeing the reaction to this. The first time we've done a full-on World Cup like this. I hope you've enjoyed the format. We hope those of you that have listened to the full thing in the Race Members Club, where you got a group stage and a third place playoff as well, have enjoyed it. Matt, Ed, Ben, thank you so much for doing this and devoting what's ended up being a lot of time to putting it together. Those of you that listened carefully at the end of our previous episode would have been expecting, I believe I said at the end of that one, we were going to do a BMW Williams episode next. We then decided, hang on a minute, if we're going to do the World Cup thing, we need to do it before the World Cup starts. So the story of Williams and BMW, the first couple of years in 2000 and 2001, will be coming up next, because I promise I won't find another bandwagon for us to jump on that will push that further back in the queue.